Hello, everyone. I'm glad you've joined us tonight. We're just trying to get Kevin in online and waiting for all the attendees. So welcome. I hope you can hear me. Maybe if you unmute yourself and tell me if you can hear me, that would be great. Lisa, I can see you're there. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Oh, that's fantastic. And Darren? Awesome. That's great. Okay, well, that's good to know. Thanks, Lisa. Hang in there and we'll start shortly.
Okay.
Where are you from?
Brisbane.
Brisbane. Oh, okay. We actually did it at 9 o'clock for people in West Australia, and I didn't know if people from Brisbane would join at 9 o'clock.
Oh, it's just remembering the time zone.
Yeah. There's a few people coming in now, so I'll put you back on mute. Thanks, Lisa.
Okay, thank you.
Everyone can hear. No worries. Use the chat box if you need.
Okay.
Hey, Kevin, can you hear me?
Yep, can hear you.
Great. What about Kevin? Kevin Young, can you hear me? No, doesn't seem he can. I might have to get him through on our phone. Quick, don't hassle me. Are you going to keep her? She'll be wanting to come in. Come, Candy, Candy. Well, I don't want to scratch your back on the door. Are you going to listen? Well, good evening, everyone. There's more attendees coming in, so we'll just give them a little bit of time, but we do like to start on time. So it's 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, Australian Eastern Standard Time. And the reason we ran it at 9 o'clock tonight was to give West Australians a chance to come in at 7 p.m, which was a reasonable webinar type of time. So yeah, we're happy to have you tonight. We're going to be addressing the state of the nation, and we're going to be talking about whether we should invest now in property. We're going to give you a bit of a market update. We're going to show you a few properties. And yeah, we were going to be answering some of your questions as well. So it's a thrill to have you. We have Kevin Young online actually. However, we're just trying to get him his audio working so that, or his microphone working so that we can actually hear him. At the moment, unfortunately, I can't get him through. He seems unmuted, or sorry, he seems muted. Anyway, we'll keep trying, but it's fabulous to have so many people online tonight. And I know there was around 90 registrations, so we probably, yeah, we're a long way off that yet. So I might just chat for a little bit until we get a few more on board. How are you going, Kevin? Have you got any luck there with your audio? Yeah, unfortunately, I cannot hear Kevin. I'm just going to tell him to come in on as an attendee. He's going to try coming in as an attendee because a lot of you have got your audio working, so that will be good. You can see Andrew online there. Can you hear me, Andrew? Andrew Fidel, can you hear me? Great. See a little hand up there. It's great. All right, well, we might just get started, and then the ones that can join us a little bit later can pick up on where we're at. And we'll have to try and get Kevin through some other how, maybe just on the phone. Anyway, for now, we'd like to welcome you to Lockdown, Should I Invest in Property Now? It's been a crazy time, hasn't it, with COVID and lockdowns. But the one thing for sure is that we all need a roof over our head, and that's why we love property. My name is Catherine Doherty, and I'm a branch manager with the club. I'm also a researcher. Just click through here. I'm going to just start off by saying, you know, whether you're a beginner or an experienced investor, the club is your personal assistant in property investing, financing, and sourcing the right property. We mentor you through every step of your real estate journey, and we help you build wealth for your family, your life, and your retirement. So 90% of Australians actually retire on a part pension and remain poor, but not our members. We create millionaires. So we have created many millionaires over the years. We're really honoured to have Kevin Young on our meeting tonight, and I'm trusting that we can get him speaking shortly. He's just ringing now, so I'll just answer that call. Hi, Kevin.
Sorry.
That's okay. Well, maybe I'll just leave you on the phone there, and then I'll see if anybody can hear you. And then when I get you to speak, they'll be able to hear you through the phone. So I might just ask Lisa, who I was talking to earlier. Lisa, can you hear Kevin if he speaks now? Kevin, can you just say hi? So Lisa's muted. Let me just. Hey
Yeah,
Lisa, did you hear Kevin?
not very well. It was just like noise, mumble, not clear.
Not clear?
No.
Okay, we could try again.
No.
A little bit.
No, it's too faint. Is it on speaker?
I've got him on speaker on the phone. He can hear you. So
Oh. Yeah, I can't.
all right, well Kevin, did you try coming in as an attendee? Thanks everyone for your patience. Kev, if you can try coming in as an attendee, that might help. And I'll tell everybody about you and the club anyway. So so Kevin Young, we're honoured to have still leading the club. He founded it 27 years ago. It's still free membership for life, and we've got 80,000+ members. We've had many more than that during the 27 years, but a lot of them have retired now and or moved on, and we haven't been able to keep up with their address or whatever. But we've got lots of members. They're bringing their children in, they're referring their friends, and you know, we've created many millionaires over the years as well. Sold a lot of property, 20,000+ properties, and that just gives us a real edge with builders and developers, and we have good relationships with them, so we can source the right properties for you. We work. Sorry, I've just jumped ahead of myself. I don't know why that's. Who's laughing? So yeah, sorry. Lots of properties. We work for you, not the seller. That's a really important point about the club. You know, we work for you, and we don't work for the developer. Even though we have great relationships with developers, we work for you, the buyer. So we're investors helping investors. We're a club of investors, and we help one another. And you know, we mentor you through every stage of the journey. So myself, I've been with the club now a couple of years, and I'm actually a researcher and a property mentor and branch manager. You can see a little bit about me there, but basically I'm a property investor. I've worked in this industry for many years, hold a few certificates, but really I started with a property developer and I learnt from the ground up that way about how property is developed and how it makes money. And yeah, we just love property. So most of the members in the club love property, and yeah, I'm thrilled to talk to you about it tonight. So tonight's question, lockdown, should I invest in property now? Good question. And we have had a few questions sent in to us, so I'm going to try and answer most of those questions tonight, but please feel free to use the chat box there if you do have a question, and I will try and get to that, or I'll try and get Kevin to answer that for us. So should we invest in property now? And first I just want to ask you a question and say, you know, what sort of lifestyle choices would you like to create for yourself? Because it definitely is a way to create wealth for your future. You know, you can't save money as fast as it goes up in property. It's just as simple as that. And it might sit flat for many years, but then you have your boom times, and that's what we're certainly experiencing now. And it's very exciting for those that have been waiting quite a long time. Kev was going to talk about this. This is Kev's wisdom. I'm just wondering if I can get him in or not. Let me just see if he's come in as an attendee. I can't see him there, unfortunately. So look, Kev's wisdom is awesome. Like, it's just really working out how many years you've got till retirement versus your assets. And then we work together on a strategy. We work together, work out how many dollars you need in retirement, work out how long you've got left, work out how many properties you need, work out the cash flow on those properties, and then we can really set you up to succeed. So our cash flow analysis program is the proprietary software which has been created by the club, Kevin himself. It's actually a spreadsheet. However, it's a very simple way of seeing what money's coming in, what money's going out, what benefits there are there, and then what cash flow you have. It also shows what capital growth there. So those colors there, like the red is what you spend, the green is what's coming in, the blue is some, you know, hidden secrets and some tax benefits, and then we've got the yellow is your positive cash flow, and the black is your capital growth. And, you know, a lot of property right now is positive cash flow purely because the interest rates are low, but we always try and buy property or point you in the direction of true positive cash flow property, which means your rent covers all the expenses day one and you're not really reliant on your income. A lot of people now are nervous about their income or their job. You know, if you're down in Melbourne, you know, with COVID, you're concerned about your job. So that's, you know, if you've got true positive cash flow property, then you're not reliant on your job or your tax deductions to make the property cash flow positive. So Kevin Young's been able to get in as an attendee, which is awesome. So I'm just going to unmute him now and just see if he'd like to comment on that. He's actually amazing. He's Australia's biggest property investor. He's got over 200 properties. He's built houses, townhouses, etc. And he's he was the first person in Australia to be on TV as a property expert, so that's pretty neat. He should go in the World Guinness Book of Records. And he's donated over $2 million to charity. He retired at 27, but then he started the club. So he's been working pretty hard. When I say retired, he still works. He still works in the club. So Kevin, can you speak now and see if we can hear you? Well, we are trying. I've got him unmuted, but Kev, we can't hear you unless you've got an audio button or something there.
I can hear it. Yes, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Well, hey, my apologies, people. I've just been in my office for the first time, and I just wasn't getting enough feed into here. So anyway, yeah, this is our big secret why we create more millionaires than anyone else in Australia. In fact, we create more millionaires than all the others combined. To get this cash flow positive, there has to be a lot of secret stuff done to get the combination right. And it's very easy to get it wrong. And that's why everyone else, 90% of property investors, can only ever afford to have 2 properties and end up old and on a part pension looking after 2 old properties. Not good. So when you come to the club, we have property financial planners. So we get a lot of questions answered from you first before we go diving into a property. An agent says, here's the door, look at the properties here, you buy this one, it'll fit you. And later you find out it didn't fit you at all. So this really is the secret of our success. The red is the cost. It's below the line. The green is the money that comes in. And usually that green doesn't match the red. And people say, how can you accumulate properties? The next one is a bit of the zinger. This is like having 2 tenants. That blue line there is the money we put back into your pay packet. So the selection of the property has to be very, very, very carefully done to do that. So when you put those 2 together, here you're looking at nearly $200 a week cash flow positive. And this is the time to get in, where you can lock all this away. And the black line there means that you're making capital growth over $400. So it's like going to a casino, investing no money, and walking out with $400 each week. So I've never seen a better time to invest in property.
Thanks,
Back to you,
Kev.
Catherine. You did a wonderful job.
Yeah, that's awesome. So we'll just roll on, and you'll be there if we want to ask any questions. So thank
Sure.
you. Yeah, so our next slide is the market update. So right now we're just in an incredible time in the market. I'll get Kevin to comment on this as well. This is like our national property clock for houses and units. And it's one of the first times in my life that I've ever seen all the states on the left-hand side of the clock. Now there is a couple up the top there, Canberra and Tamworth, etc., at the peak of the market, but everywhere else is either starting to recover in a rising market or approaching the peak. So it's just a perfect time to buy in a rising market because you're still going to catch some growth. And even units over there, you can see that they're in the rising market as well. So Kev, did you want to comment on that?
Yeah, one of the greatest traps that people fall into when they're buying property is they only just buying their own backyard, which means their future goes up and down with what happens in your own backyard. And of course, everyone knows you should diversify, but how do you diversify into other cities when you don't have the infrastructure, you don't have the agents, you don't know how to get a tenant, and how to check your property, you don't even know how to buy the property correctly. It's all foreign to you, so you don't. With the club, we have all cities around Australia well serviced with their infrastructure to get you the right property and continue to service, continue to see you got a tenant. Now, the good thing about this time now is no matter where your own home is, you want to diversify. And this enables us to say to you, well, we can happily diversify you through all those states that you've got there, safely knowing that when cycles come along and properties go up, properties come down, when one of your properties is in perhaps that flat cycle, the other properties will be in an up cycle. So this is the best time in history to start diversifying. And who better to help you than Catherine and the club, because we've got the infrastructure there to help you all the way around the country.
Yeah, absolutely right. Thanks, Kev. So look, since COVID and lockdowns, migration has hit an all-time high, and it's absolutely happening. Like, interstate migration is amazing at the moment. 90% above decade average. I can show you other graphs, but this is just giving you the nuts and bolts of it. And like, mass migration to Queensland is certainly happening. I have spoken to somebody that works in the Department of Transport, and 99% of her job, all she does all day, every day, is transfer licenses from New South Wales and Victoria to guess where? To Queensland. So look, we're not on tonight promoting Queensland. However, there is a huge move to Queensland at the moment, and that's really because of the sunshine, you know, the warm, people want to come up here, but get out of New South Wales and Victoria, and the cold and the COVID and the lockdowns. We have hardly had any lockdowns. And, you know, it's just people want to come here. So we are in a position at the moment where we're seeing, you know, a huge people movement, but also a huge demand for property in rent and in purchasing. So you can see there some of those statistics on screen. But by 2041, Southeast Queensland's expected to accommodate an additional 1.5 billion people, bringing it to 5.3 million here. So look, there's movement in other states as well, but I just wanted to point that out. And here we have a laugh with Kevin, just to break things up. But the only way to get to Queensland now is to marry a football player, apparently. So thanks for that joke, Kev. But median house prices to grow. I might get Kev to comment on this slide. If you want to come back in, Kev.
Yeah, sure. The old banana story is rather famous. The price of bananas is about $2 a kg. The cyclone goes through North Queensland, knocks them all out. There's no supply in the markets, and the price goes to $17 a kg. So price is set by the law of supply and demand. Now, if you keep that in mind, making money out of property is simple. Go to where the demand is going up. And what is demand? That's rising population. And then look for the supply. Look where the supply is coming down. Now, in the club, we've got all this information. And when we're sitting down with you, we'll go through this to suit you. So we need at least 2.5% per annum property growth, population growth, to put that drive under rising rents and rising prices. And we get all this supply and demand data for all of the capital cities around Australia. So when we're sitting down with you, we might recommend a city to you. You think, why are you recommending that? Well, it's because it fits the supply and demand, and it also fits your individual circumstances to start diversifying. Any questions there?
If you do have a question, you can unmute yourself and ask, or pop it in the chat box. So yeah, Kev, the supply and demand, it's basic economics, and we are in a rising market purely because there's low supply. It was our time in the property cycle here in Queensland anyway. But really tonight, I really wanted to talk to those people in Western Australia and anybody around the country that have bought property here in Queensland. You will be starting to see some really good equity growth now. Great time to look at your finance. There's low interest rates. Obviously, like, these are some of the reasons there's low supply and high demand, but the rental prices are rising as well. So there's a low vacancy rate across the country, and under 1% in most regions in Queensland at the moment. We can find that out for you. We've got all the information. So when we're talking to you, when you're talking to your mentor, they can look at the vacancy rates for you, even look at your rents where you should, when you have property, see what they should be, because they're all rising right now. So you want to make sure you're maximising that rent. And of course, we've got population growth, natural, national and international again one day, land shortage, and yeah, buying now is definitely a great time. So I just wanted to point out, I did a webinar about 30 days ago in July. So just was the end of July, probably 32 days ago or something. But this was my slide 30 days ago, and I just wanted to go over it because this is actual numbers. At Queensland, Moreton Bay, we had some terrace homes for 485. They're all gone. Nothing left in that way at all. If they were, they'd be over 500,000. We've got Gold Coast Canal townhouses. We had a whole estate right on the water at Hope Island there, all gone. Nothing there at all. We have Brisbane suburb townhouses. We have had some, you know, from 450. I've got clients that bought 450, 460, 470. There's just no stock there now. We did have some in Rochedale, they're at 585. And I think Mango Hill, we've got some. However, they're not going to register till around 23. So I just want to look, this is not a negative because we can still source property for you, the right property for you at the right budget. So we have great relationships with all the builders and developers, and we can source stock even though it's very difficult right now. We have to be ready. We have to be ready to submit that EOI when we find something, just to beat everyone else out there. Here's a couple of examples. Gold Coast apartment, we do have one at the moment. It was available still earlier today. One only that's complete at 525. There's a few others off the plan in a new building next door. But they were really nicely finished, 2-bed, 2-bath, great rent return, 6%, and a gorgeous rooftop terrace that you can see there in the picture. Rooftop terrace and rent return of around 6%. Positive cash flow from day one, so that's what we like to see. And very, very low vacancy rate. So these are like 2 kilometres to the Broadwater, 2 kilometres to the CBD, 3 kilometres to the hospital, to the Griffith Uni, just really well located and really well finished. So people want to rent them, getting very high rents there. I think the estimates were 560, but they're getting way over that. They're getting 570, 595, and the higher levels obviously would get over 600. So yeah, that's a great opportunity for somebody. We have got a few, like I said, off the plan, but one only complete. So you can have a look at that. Terrace homes, we had a couple of these today that came through, so I just wanted to put them on because we're speaking to you tonight. They're a very small lot, terrace home in Logan Reserve, but the price point is good, $479,900. 3-bed, 2-bath, 1 living and 1 car. The rental estimates are a little low only because there's a huge amount of development in that area at the moment, but of course that will come up a little as all of the properties start to fill up. But we've been able to secure a 2-year rent guarantee that's going to get you over that hub anyway at 5%, which is around $460 a week. So great purchase there. And again, very, very low vacancy rate, so 1.2%. Like an average market is around 3%. And these are just, yeah, great. Sorry, under that average of 1.2. Again, positive cash flow on that. And look, when we showed you the other, just before we showed you that cash flow analysis, we're happy to do that or personalize that for you. So we can look at your numbers, look at your property, look at everything and personalize that cash flow for you. So Kev, I just wanted to pop this screen up because it's so important how we do protect our buyers. So would you like to comment on that for me?
Yeah, Bet, I'm very excited about this because when you go into a real estate agent, you think he's looking after your interest. Hands up those that think that's so. But no, I've been fighting this since I started the club. They take a legal, moral and fiduciary duty to promote and protect the seller and get the highest price for the seller. They're not protecting you. So we alone are protecting buyers. There's a small little rump of buyers agents, but that's silly because they just charge you for them to go to an agent who's also going to charge you. So where are you winning? And you actually got to tell them where you want to buy. So we're not a front and we're looking after your interest. We are property financial planners for a holistic approach. Now everyone else just opens the window and says, pick one of those and I'll shoehorn you into it. Or you open the paper and get confused by all the marketing blurb. We go and check your financials, we check your history, we check where you want to go, and we make sure that you're putting down good, solid foundations so you can achieve the end result. So we work out exactly where you want to go, and we work with you to achieve that end result. Now, normally, that'd be probably like a $10,000 financial planners package for you, and we do it for how much, Catherine?
$0.
Yeah, so we're free today, free forever. And we have a lot of clauses in our contracts to protect you. When you buy from an agent, there's no protective clauses in there, and that can cost you lots and lots of money. Now, we give comparisons to sales evidence, so though we like you to get your finance sorted out quickly and move quickly on a property in the moving market so you get the best deal, We don't stop there. We come back and backfill and give you all the sales evidence to put your mind at ease of what's been selling up and down the street and in the area. We also get in writing from letting agents what is your property going to rent for, and you can work out the rent return. We can also give out past purchases lists, and we're very happy to do this. No one else does this, but you asked us to give you some people who become millionaires through the club, and each person will give a 60 millionaires list to you that you can ring them and talk to them, and then you'll find they're all pleased to help people.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Next one you can talk about, because you've put a lot of time and effort into helping people, Catherine.
Yeah, so we no charge for one-on-one help with the mentor, and I can see Tim Lowry online tonight, which is awesome. So Tim came to us recently, and he'd been to other property people, like all of, anyone can, everything's online these days. But, the property person, I don't know if Tim would mind me saying, but they wanted him to sell his property. And it was a large property that his parents had left him. And he didn't want to sell the property. And so we came up with a strategy where he could keep the property, borrow against it, and then buy investment properties. And that's what he's been able to do. And Tim, did you want to just say a quick hello? Can you speak, Tim, or not?
Can you unmute yourself, Tim?
Yeah, I'm not sure. Oh, there
Hello,
you go.
hello. Can you hear me now?
Oh, yeah, we
Yep,
can.
yep.
Hi, Tim, how are you?
Yep. Sorry, sounds like a little bit delayed here on my phone.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
no,
all
I'm
right.
good, thanks. So yeah,
Yeah, nice to see you there. I just commented on you. Did you hear me?
yeah, I did it actually. Yeah, thank you.
That's all right. No, but it's really true, isn't it? Like you were able to keep your property and you're doing it up and you're going to get a rental on that one as well. And then you've been
Yeah,
able
that's
to buy
right.
further properties and he's still going to buy more. So he's wrapped. Is that right, Tim?
Yeah, that's right. It's working out well. So I mean, when I went to the other people, they sort of like wanted to get their commission and they just wanted a quick, easy fix and sell the property. And then like there was no sort of like further solution down the track. They just wanted to use that money to buy a couple of properties and that was it. But you sort of like providing me with a plan to sort of like to keep going. So I mean that's more exciting for me to sort of like be able to keep moving forward, and that's what I like.
Yeah,
Tim, the
and the
big
big
thing is when the property doubles in value, who owns it?
Me.
Yeah, that's it. Never sell. Never sell, because they keep on doubling.
and the other thing,
The next one I like, we have a program of socials and networking with other investors. Nowhere in the world, when you're trying to buy a property, can you meet other investors and learn from their mistakes, talk to them how it was for them. But in the club, we have regular socials.
Yep. So I was just going to say too, just back on Tim for a minute, one of the biggest things that I spotted was that if he'd sold that property and bought his next properties for cash, there was no tax deductions for him. There was, well, very little. He wouldn't have got any of the interest that you can get from leveraging that property and borrowing against it. So yeah, Tim's going to do well while he's still working to maximise his tax deductions and reduce his tax. So that was one of the biggest things in keeping his property and borrowing against it. But yeah, they're the sort of things we can help you with as we work with you, just to see what's suitable for your situation. And like Kev says, we can network, if you can get along to some of our social events, you can network and talk to other investors. And of course, then we've got our post-sale support. So, Tim's bought a property, but, I'm not going anywhere. So we're still here. We're still on the end of the phone. We still pick up. We still assist you going forward. So it's not all smooth sailing. Like Tim has had a couple of issues that we're still working through, but, we don't go away. Whereas an agent, they sell you the property and they're gone. They're on to their next sale. So we're still there on the end of the phone for you. Yeah, we minimise risk by avoiding builders that have issues, and of course we multi-let with agents to avoid long vacancies. So we just get that rental opportunity out to a number of agents so that they have to fight over it basically and get the best deal and the best tenant for you. So yeah, we alone protect.
Catherine, with our 27 years experience in property, how we avoid builders is we blacklist them. And so we've got over 150 builders now that want to come back, want to give us properties, and we just say no. And I have one guy that about 20 years ago I black banned him, and each year he still keeps popping up and trying to give us properties and tries to put his son on as the builder and not him, but we keep saying no. Why go to a builder you think could give you some problems? So that's how we can protect you.
It's awesome. I love working with the club, so it's great. It's so good to have that backup. So yeah, so I just popped that in the middle of the properties to give us a little rest. But look, to be honest, house and land packages, this is in Queensland. We do have some coming along in Perth and other states, but house and land packages in Queensland are in high demand right now. So there's pretty much zero registered land, and most of the newer states are registering anywhere from December this year through till next year, December next year actually. So the way we work it is that you've got to request what you want through your property mentor. You work with the mentor who works with the club researcher, and we will source the right property for you. So we'll go direct to our builders like we did today, sourcing stock for someone in Sydney, and or a couple of people in Sydney actually. We had a long list of properties to find. So we will source them for you, but you really need to be ready. So if you can get pre-approval and get finance ready, just to be able to submit that EOI quickly. Now, an EOI, if you don't know, is an expression of interest, but it just gets it off the market, and it allows us then to continue the due diligence that we want to do with you. So if you haven't had all your questions answered first, it doesn't matter, because we'll make sure they're answered before you're ever unconditional on a contract, if that makes sense. So coming up, watch this space. We've got some great properties coming up in Perth, some completed house and land. So if the tax on fixtures and fittings, if the tax benefit's not as important to you, they have a great rent return and a 3-year guaranteed rent with an option to extend. So it's with a healthcare provider, and great high rents and no downtime. So there's not going to be any vacancies or anything in those properties. So what you might lose a little bit in some tax deductions, you're going to pick up in that other. Now, they're only been completed late last year, so they're not old properties at all. They're brand new pretty much, and they've all got tenancies. So they're coming up in Perth, plus some other stock in Perth that I haven't put on the slide. But Perth is a time to buy, because why? It's at that bottom time of the cycle. So it's in recovery and it's starting to rise now. So it's a great time to get into Perth and in an affordable price. Gold Coast, we've got some great single level villas, community title townhouses coming up halfway between Brisbane and the Gold Coast. They're from 585. You can see it's another 100,000 on Perth. Still a pretty good rent return and really good location. So talk to us about that, just if they either of those interest you. But both Gold Coast and Perth are the places to buy, in my opinion, right now. So yeah, we've got some opportunities in both of those places. So really tonight we wanted to answer the question, didn't we? We wanted to answer if you should buy now. And really, this is some of the answers. So why and should you? We are in a rising market. Kev, if you want to comment on any of this, you can. Do you want to take over?
Just say, can I ask people there who's happy with their mortgage and who thinks they're paying the bank too much? Now, this is the first and most immediate way that we can help you. If you're an investor, you've probably been pushed towards principal and interest. We can revert that back to interest only. And investors are being victimised by the banks. They'll reduce their rates to get new business in. With their existing business, they won't. And that's where the club comes into account, because we've got really good mortgage negotiators. They'll work for you for nothing to give you the best rate possible. We're saving people tens of thousands of dollars a year where they thought they were getting a deal. We can do much better. So how do you save money? Just contact us. At the end of this, you'll have the opportunity of sending information to us. We'll get back to you and have a mentor, and we'll go through how we can help you. So just sitting at home, we can put tens of thousands of dollars back into your pocket. Because trust me, the banks are bastards. We've got to attack them. Here you go.
So that, yes, they are. So yeah, low interest rates, great time, set yourself up, cash flow positive, rising rents. These are all the reasons why you should. Migration, people are working from home, you know, so you still need a property to work from home, and everyone needs a roof over their head. So, you know, we love property, and we still believe right now is a great time to get into the market. So how do you do that? You work with your property mentor. So contact your mentor. If you don't know your mentor, then contact the club and we can put you in touch with that person. Get finance ready. That's the best way to buy right now, because you have to be almost pre-approved or cashed up, ready to go to even be accepted on an EOI these days. So if you can start your pre-approval, it is the best way to go. Of course, work with a club researcher to source that right property. And this point I like to put in is to be ready mentally, because you will need to act quick with the support of your mentor. So obviously we're not just going to push you into something quickly for the sake of it. We're just going to say, we've researched, we know the market, here's a property, you need to act quick. So that's what I mean by that, is just get yourself ready mentally. We're going to be first in line anyway with the builders and developers through our relationships. And then be brave enough just to submit that EOI. Look, you know what? I was talking to people last year when COVID hit, and people were cautious. People didn't want to move, and fair enough. It was a very difficult time. But, you know, some of those people now that I was talking to could have bought for 100,000 less than they can now. And, you know, it's priced some people out. And even I was talking to someone today saying how they wish they'd done something last year. And look, people ask me when is the right time to buy, and what I say to them is when you can. When you can buy, because prices always are moving, and so when you have that opportunity, make the most of it, be brave and submit that EOI and get the property off the market. And then of course you pay your holding deposit. Yep.
Make a comment. Everyone thinks they've missed the boat. And yeah, I should have bought 18 months ago when we were saying to people, buy. They weren't. But think of this, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, prices actually went down. So the boom we're going through now is just catch up with where they should have progressed through those years. So really now the real boom is starting right now. And the headlines are screaming out there, this is going to be the biggest property boom in, I used to say 20 years. Now it's saying 30 years. And I'm predicting that the stock we're looking at now will go up 20% in the next 12 months. And that's on the back of rising rents, because tenants just can't find properties. They're pushing the rents up. And the only reason they push the rents up is saying there's not enough property out there. So now is the time to get in. The boom's starting now. Thanks,
absolutely. Thank you, Kev. It's absolutely true. I can back that up because I'm talking to people every day, and I'm talking to builders every day, and it's getting harder. I've even heard of a builder who's not taking any more sales. I've never heard that before, but they're not taking on any more sales because they've got enough, and they need to be able to build them all. They need to be able to get all the trades, all the supplies going up, prices are going up on the materials. So, but you know what, it all sounds a bit scary, but we can still hold your hand through that whole process and make sure you're making the right decisions and assisting you with that. So happy to do that. So now you know, why wouldn't you buy? Own your own property for $0 a day, basically. Just got to get in, and you know, I could ask Tim again, but I won't. I'll just say that he got over and above estimated rents, and his property is positive cash flow. when he thought that he may have had to add a little bit to it, but he doesn't. So it was an awesome result. But every day that you delay, you are burning dollars right now. So you don't want to do that. You want to get those dollars in your pocket and in your portfolio. So, you know, people have said to me, you know, waiting for the prices to drop, but guess what? They're not going to at the moment. They're rising, and eventually they may come back a bit, but you know, property never drops down to what it was, you know, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. So you just want to get in. It's not rocket science. It's time in the market. So you want to get in now, and the herd are rushing in right now. It's like a Boxing Day sale out there. I'm telling you, they're frantically trying to get into the market. So you don't have to be frantic. We will assist you, but we're encouraging you not to burn that opportunity. So hopefully we've answered all your questions, but I will give you some time now if you do have any questions to pipe up or unmute yourself. And does anybody have any questions they'd like to ask Kev or myself? Don't be shy.
What a knowledgeable lot of investors we've got. They all make good mentors, and we need some more mentors. We've got more people wanting advice on property than we have mentors to sit with them and go through the options for them. So if you want to make a career out of property and help people on the way, real estate agents, just contact Catherine.
That's absolutely right, Kev. I could certainly use some help, and there's lots of members there that need help also. So if anyone's interested in being a property mentor, we'd love to talk to you. So yeah, contact us on that note. So we're coming to the end now, and next steps really is just, as we said, contact your property mentor, ask for a financial wealth check form so we can look over and make sure you're in the best position, or else get you some lower rates and make sure you're interest only on your properties, on your investments. So don't delay is what I say. Don't be burning those dollars. You can phone us on that number there, or you can email me direct. I'll make sure you get to your correct property mentor, or I'll be able to answer your questions from tonight, that's for sure. So thank you again for attending. We'll talk to you soon. It's been a good evening. I appreciate your time, especially those who've stayed up so late over here on the eastern coast. I wondered how many people had come in at 9 p.m. But I really did it for WA, but we can send out the recording anyway. So anyone would like the recording, or if they've missed it, please let us know. And we'd love to talk to you again soon. You got any last comments, Kev?
Mate, I love making millionaires. I think we've hit about 5,500 so far, which is a world wealth creation record. We're trying to get on the Guinness Book of Records. They don't have that category. So there you go. I want to make another 500 millionaires this year. So if you're out there and you want to become a millionaire, get your skates on, join up with us. Remember, Kerry Packer said, don't get rich paying tax. So we'll reduce your more current mortgages, put cash in your pocket, and then we'll make you a millionaire. It's a promise. So good night, guys. Thanks for your time. Appreciate your time. Look forward to seeing you.
Great invitation. Yeah, come on board. Come on board as a mentor. Come on as a mentor. Come and become a millionaire, and we'll do it together. So have a great evening, everyone. Thanks again for your attendance, and we'll be in touch. Bye now.